Good morning and welcome to Channel 74 News. I'm Dawson Parks and today is the last day of March. Elkie, that makes tomorrow.
April Fool's Day, Dawson. Do you have any tricks in mind for tomorrow?
Well, I've got a few options in mind. Stay tuned.
Vera Bay is a Shippensburg resident, but she was born in Ukraine just before World War II began, and her family fled Ukraine to avoid capture by the Soviet Union, and yesterday she spoke with students during first and second block. Reporter Rathan Hughes was there and spoke with Vera, and here's that report.
Thanks, Elkie. I'm here with Miss Vera Bay, today's guest speaker who was born in Ukraine. Thanks for visiting our school today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to address all the students. It's been several years since I taught high school students, so it's truly a pleasure to be here, and hopefully they learned from my presentation.
So Vera, what was life like growing up as a child in Ukraine?
Well, I was quite young. We left Ukraine when I was almost 6 years old, but I do remember the last year or so when so many of the people that worked for my dad were all of a sudden taken away, and they were taken away to work in Germany in their labor camps and their farms. I do remember losing my nanny, losing the people that were around us. Economically, again, there was less, not that we were starving, but there were obviously a shift to that many of the goods were missing. I also remember that time when they started taking the Jewish people, because I heard these stories even as a young child, that Jewish people were being put on trains, but we didn't know where. And so all of those stories that life changed in the way of what was available, the people that I saw. I had a favorite as a child when we moved into the countryside. I had a favorite goat which somehow disappeared. And then still knowing that we would have to get away in one night, my parents were building a new home in the countryside, which was never finished. And I remember visiting that home. I have more experience or life in Czechoslovakia and was a little bit older.
What are your thoughts on the war in Ukraine as of right now?
Well, obviously it is a major, major worldwide tragedy. We thought after World War II, and when we kept saying never again of persecution of one group of people, such as the Jewish people, but it's happening again. And it's happening in more than Ukraine. The dictators that are in power in various countries in Africa or in Syria, but in a total invasion of a country is unacceptable, especially where that country wants nothing other than regular lifestyle. They want to be part of the world community. If Putin takes over, they will not be able to do that. So the tragedy is in the loss of personal freedom, and the loss of property, and the loss of economic freedom, and the total destruction of the country of Ukraine, which will take many, many years to rebuild. So it is a worldwide tragedy. The good thing is how the world has united. NATO, United Nations, and so on, in their support of this travesty and of Putin being a war criminal.
What message do you want our students to take away with them after your presentation today?
I hope that they have learned something, and I hope that they become an active participants in the affairs of the world. On a personal basis, I've asked them if they and their families can help to donate humanitarian aid. But eventually, as I told in my presentation, I hope that if Ukraine wins, God willing, that Shippensburg as a town will be able to adopt a sister city in Ukraine, and that many citizens from Shippensburg will be able to visit or welcome visitors from that city and exchange cultural ideas which contribute so much to peace, but also to help them economically.
Thank you so much for your time and for talking with our students today. Back to you.
Thank you for having me. I miss teaching students, so this was absolutely wonderful.
And your presentation was very well.
Thank you.
Well done, Rathan, and thank you to Mrs. Bay for speaking with our students yesterday. In other news, last week, Mrs. Shirk's children's lit classes visited our elementary schools to share the stories they wrote for her class with the kids.
Here's reporter Alex Pletcher with a few of those students who participated in those trips last week.
Thanks, Elkie. I'm here with Peter, Jackie, and the Maroon and Gray Today January Student Spotlight for Seniors, Leah Britcher, who all participated in last week's children's lit trip to the elementary school. How was it?
I thought it was really, really fun. I had a really great time, and just seeing and interacting with the kids as they, played on the playground, and we got to play games with them and read books. It was really fun.
Thanks, Alex. I had a great time personally playing basketball with the kids and reading to them. It was just an overall blast. I got to eat some Chick-fil-A too, so that's always a plus.
That's great.
Yeah, I had a great time too. It was really cool to see how excited the kids were to see us and to be able to get to know them better.
Awesome. Now, why do you think it's important for elementary school kids to have experiences with high school students?
I think it's important for kids to see how we act and know that they're going to be good kids just like us one day.
Absolutely. Now, each of you wrote your own children's book. You mind telling us what that was about?
I wrote a book about a crested gecko
Nice.
that went on an adventure and ate a bunch of pizza.
That sounds like an awesome gecko.
My book was about a young girl who doesn't feel like she fits in. It's her first day of third grade. She doesn't know what club she wants to join, who she's going to be friends with. And towards the end, she finds a friend who she really, connects with. And, she joins the club, and she finds where she fits in.
Sweet.
My book is about a group of friends who go camping and they forget a bunch of stuff and then they realize that what matters is that they're spending time together. So, yeah.
That's sick. All right, thank you for your time. And here's a few pics from the children's lit trip.
Nice job, Alex. Elkie, I think I'd really like to hear Peter's story about the pizza-eating gecko.
I'm sure the kids loved that story. Just a few announcements. It's almost trout season. Fishing Club has an important meeting today in room 29 for any students that missed last week's meeting. Seniors, just a reminder, cap and gown money is due tomorrow to the office. Graduation is less than 2 months away.
Attention seniors going to the senior trip to Pittsburgh. Permission slips are now available and need to be turned in by April 14th. Really cool field trip planned for anyone interested in sports management or hospitality. Elkie, take it away.
Trip on April 27th is to the Harrisburg Senators baseball team. Students on the trip will watch a baseball game, experience their Business of Baseball program, plus have an all-you-can-eat picnic lunch. Please see Mrs. Akers or look for an email from her about the trip. 2 local colleges, Shippensburg University and Penn State Mont Alto, are having college fairs on April 7th. Please see Mr. Ford in guidance if interested in signing up.
And finally today, congrats to the softball team on their 5-2 win over Northern on Tuesday. Junior Kayla Altizer had the big hit, a 2-run home run, giving Ship the lead. Also on Tuesday, both the boys and girls track team scored wins over James Buchanan. The boys won 105-45 and the girls won 103-47.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Tuesday, and as always,
stay classy.
Stay classy, Shippensburg.